I was cursed by a fortune teller, now I am a woman forever. My name is Jake, and until recently, I was just an ordinary 22-year-old guy. Life wasn't exactly thrilling, but it was mine. Work at a tech startup, weekends with my friends, the occasional bad date. I liked things simple, predictable. If you had told me a month ago that I'd wake up in a completely different body, I would have laughed in your face. But that's exactly what happened. It all started on a drunken night out with my friends. We had been bar hopping, laughing too loud, and making dumb bets when we stumbled across a fortune teller shop tucked between a closed pawn shop and a flickering streetlight. The neon sign above the door buzzed with the words, "Come on, Jake!" Matt slurred, elbowing me. "Get your fortune read. Maybe she'll tell you when you'll finally get a girlfriend." I rolled my eyes. "This is a scam." "Then prove it," he challenged. "Go in, get your fortune read, and call her out on it." I smirked, playing along. Why not? It was all a joke. Inside, the air smelled of old incense and wax. Madame Verda sat behind a velvet-draped table, her piercing gaze fixed on me. "You don't believe," she said in a voice that sent a chill down my spine. "It's all just a trick, right?" I shrugged. Her eyes darkened as she reached out and gripped my hand. "Then let's see how much you believe when the truth is reflected in the mirror." I laughed it off. But when I woke up the next morning, nothing was the same. I woke up groggy, my head pounding from the previous night's drinks. The room was dim, the morning light barely filtering through the blinds. I groaned. Rolling over, something felt off. My body felt lighter, smaller. As I sat up, my oversized t-shirt slipped off one shoulder and a strange weight shifted on my chest. My stomach twisted. My hands trembled as I reached up, and what I felt nearly sent me into a full-blown panic attack. Soft. Round. My breathing hitched. No. No, no, no. Heart racing. I scrambled out of bed and bolted to the mirror. My reflection stared back at me, except it wasn't my reflection. It was a girl. A girl with long, messy brown hair, big, terrified eyes, and a delicate face that looked nothing like mine. She was wearing my clothes. My boxers hung loosely around slender thighs, my t-shirt swallowed a petite frame. I lifted a shaking hand, and the girl in the mirror did the same. I opened my mouth, and the reflection's lips parted. A scream lodged in my throat. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a joke. This was real. I stumbled back, my legs weak. My mind raced, desperately trying to rationalize what was happening. Maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe it was the alcohol, or some weird side effect of last night's prank. But no matter how many times I blinked, no matter how hard I pinched myself, the truth remained. I was a girl. Panic clawed at my chest. How was this possible? Could this be Madame Verda's doing? I scoffed. Fortune tellers weren't real. Magic wasn't real. And yet here I was. My pulse pounded as I considered my options. I could call my friends, but what would I even say? "Hey guys, I woke up as a woman, any advice?" Yeah, no. And what if this was permanent? How would I even begin to live like this? A cold shudder ran through me. I needed answers. And there was only one person who might have them. Madame Verda. I paced around my apartment, my bare feet cold against the wooden floor. My mind was a storm of confusion, fear and disbelief. Every step I took made the strange sensations in my body more real. My center of gravity was different. My movements felt lighter, and every time I breathed, I was hyper-aware of the subtle weight on my chest. This can't be happening. I grabbed my phone, fingers trembling as I scrolled through my contacts. I needed to tell someone. But who? Matt. He'd laugh his ass off, assuming it was some elaborate prank. My sister? She'd probably freak out more than me. My mom? Absolutely not. With a deep breath, I called the only person I could think of, Ryan. "Yo, what's up?" His voice was groggy, still half asleep. I hesitated. "Ryan, it's me. Jake." A pause. Who is this?" "It's me, man. I need your help. Something crazy happened." There was a rustling sound, then a tired chuckle. "Okay, Jake. What's the punchline?" My stomach clenched. "I'm serious. I woke up and I'm not me anymore." "What?" I looked down at my hands, small, delicate. My voice, even as I spoke, sounded softer, unfamiliar. I don't know how to explain it. Just, can you come over?" Ryan sighed. Dude, if this is some weird 6 a.m. joke. I swear it's not. My voice cracked, panic seeping through. There was another long pause. Then, reluctantly, he said, All right, be there in 10. I hung up, my heart pounding. What if he doesn't believe me? I swallowed hard and moved to the bathroom, staring at my reflection again. I ran a hand over my smooth cheek, tracing unfamiliar lips. My eyes, once so certain, were now wide with doubt. What if this wasn't fixable? What if I was stuck like this forever? The knock on my door made me jump. My hands clenched into fists. Okay. Show Ryan. Get him to help. Figure this out. I swung the door open. Ryan stood there, rubbing his eyes. Dude, what the hell is? His voice cut off as his gaze landed on me. His eyes widened. Wait, who? It's me, I whispered, my throat tightening. It's Jake. For a moment, he just stared. Then, in a voice laced with confusion and disbelief, he murmured, What the F********. Ryan sat across from me, his face a mix of shock and suspicion. His eyes scanned me from head to toe, as if trying to find some clue that this was all a joke. This isn't possible, he muttered, rubbing his temples. People don't just change overnight. I gripped the sleeves of my oversized hoodie, feeling my stomach churn. I know that, but it happened. He exhaled sharply. Okay, say I believe you. What do you want to do? That was the question I had been avoiding. My chest tightened as the weight of a situation pressed down on me. What could I do? Go to the police. They'd think I was insane. Go to a doctor. What would I even tell them? Find that fortune teller? If she even existed. I swallowed hard. I need to find a way to fix this. Ryan leaned back, frowning. And if you can't? I stared at him, the thought hitting me like a punch to the gut. If this was permanent, if there was no going back. I clenched my fists. Then I have to figure out how to live like this. The words felt foreign, terrifying, but they were real. This wasn't some nightmare I could wake up from. This was my life now. Ryan studied me for a long moment before nodding. All right. Then we start with finding that fortune teller. And just like that, my journey began. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, my breath shallow and uneven. The face looking back at me was still unfamiliar, despite the fact that I had woken up like this. Soft, delicate features framed by long, chestnut-brown hair. My lips were fuller, my eyes wider, my body smaller, cavia. Every slight movement, every shift of weight, every flick of my wrist, felt foreign and unnatural. I ran my fingers over my smooth, hairless arms, expecting to wake up from this nightmare. But the sensation was real. I was real. Ryan stood behind me, arms crossed. You look different, he said, his voice cautious. I scoffed. That's an understatement. It wasn't just my body. It was how the world suddenly felt around me. The way my clothes fit, loose in some places, painfully tight in others. The way my center of balance had shifted, making even standing still feel awkward. My usual hoodie swallowed me whole, and my jeans, now too big around the waist, barely stayed up. You should probably get some clothes that fit, Ryan said hesitantly. The thought sent a fresh wave of anxiety through me. Shopping. For women's clothes. I can't, I stammered, shaking my head. This isn't me. Ryan sighed. I get it. But you can't just hide in my hoodie forever. He wasn't wrong. An hour later, we found ourselves in a department store, me gripping the edges of my sleeves like a lifeline. The racks of dresses, skirts, and lingerie made my face burn. I clung to the safety of neutral items, leggings, fitted jeans, plain tops, but even those felt too revealing, too real. Then came the ultimate test, walking into the dressing room. I hesitated at the entrance marked women. My heart pounded. Ryan nudged me. Go on. You look the part. I swallowed my fear and stepped inside. The moment I pulled on the fitted jeans and tank top, a strange, uneasy sensation settled over me. The clothes hugged my new shape in ways I wasn't used to. The jeans clung to my hips, the tank top stretched across my chest, emphasizing what I had been trying to ignore. I looked at myself again, really looked, and something shifted in my brain. I was a girl now. No amount of denial would change that. Stepping out of the dressing room, I braced myself for Ryan's reaction. He blinked, then gave a small, approving nod. That suits you, he admitted. A chill ran down my spine. Was this really happening? I clenched my jaw. If I couldn't fix this, I had to adapt. I stood at the edge of the sidewalk, heart hammering in my chest as the world bustled around me. The city streets were alive, cars rushing past, pedestrians weaving through the crowd, neon signs flickering overhead. It should have felt normal, like any other night. But for me, everything had changed. I wasn't just another face in the crowd. I was different now, a stranger in my own skin. Ryan had offered to come with me, but I had refused. I needed to face this alone. Taking a deep breath, I adjusted my jacket. My jacket, a sleek women's cut that fit my curves in ways I never would have imagined wearing before. I tried to ignore the way the fabric pressed against my new form, the way my long hair brushed against my cheek. I needed to test this, to see if people could tell. As I stepped forward, I felt eyes on me. My stomach twisted. Were they staring? Could they see the truth? I forced myself to keep walking, my boots clicking against the pavement. A group of guys passed by, one of them giving me a quick once-over before flashing a smile. "Hey, beautiful," he called, his voice smooth and confident. I froze. My mind scrambled for a response, but my body reacted first. I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear and turned away. It was instinctive, automatic, like my body had accepted this new reality before my mind could. I ducked into a nearby cafe, my breath shallow. I had expected stares, whispers, maybe even recognition. But instead, I had been seen as a woman. Was that relief I felt? Or fear? Sitting down at an empty table, I pulled out my phone, hands trembling. I typed out a message to Ryan but didn't send it. Because for the first time since this all started, I wasn't sure what I wanted. Did I want to change back? I had spent so much time resisting, fighting against this transformation. But if I was honest with myself, the person in the mirror wasn't a stranger anymore. She was me. Days turned into weeks, and the fear that had once consumed me slowly faded into something else, something I never expected. Acceptance. I sat in front of my mirror, gazing at my reflection. The girl staring back wasn't a stranger anymore. She was me. The curse had changed my body, but the real transformation had happened inside. I had spent so much time resisting, clinging to an identity I thought defined me. But now, as I traced my fingers over my soft features, as I adjusted the delicate necklace Ryan had given me, I realized something. I wasn't lost. I had just been too afraid to see myself clearly. Ryan had been my anchor through all of this. At first, he treated me with careful support, always waiting for me to decide what I wanted. But lately, something had shifted between us. The way he looked at me, the way his hand lingered when he brushed my arm. It wasn't pity or obligation. It was something deeper. And maybe I felt it too. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed my phone and sent him a message. "Hey, want to grab dinner tonight? I need to talk." Whatever happened next, it would be my choice. My life. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of the future. I was ready to embrace it.